Think about your own life. Why is it that the ancient samurai could stand in freezing waterfalls for hours, but we hit the snooze button because the blanket is too warm? Why does your brain know exactly what you need to do? Finish that work, hit the gym, start that business, but still whispers, "Nah, let's just do it tomorrow." It is incredibly frustrating. But what if I told you that your laziness isn't a character flaw? It is a biological default. And more importantly, there is a way to hack it. A hidden psychological framework used by the deadliest warriors in history to literally force their brains to crave discomfort. It is called the Lotus Method. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to use it to obliterate your procrastination. But to understand how it works, we have to travel back to 12th century Japan. There was a giant warrior monk named Kenshiro. He was an absolute monster. Wild, arrogant, and addicted to the easy dopamine of winning. He stood on a bridge in Kyoto and challenged every swordsman who tried to cross. He beat 999 men in a row. He was looking for sword number 1000. Then a young, quiet man named Yoshitsune walked onto the bridge. He didn't look like a threat. Kenshiro attacked with everything he had. But Yoshitsune didn't fight back with brute force. He was disciplined. He was fluid. And within minutes, he brought the giant monk to his knees. For the first time in his life, Kenshiro tasted total, humiliating defeat. Most people today would quit. They would make excuses, blame the weather, or walk away in shame. But Kenshiro realized something in that exact moment of pain. He realized his entire life had been a pursuit of easy victories, and it made him weak. So he did the unthinkable. He bowed his head, pressed his face to the dirt, and swore his life to the man who beat him. But what Kenshiro discovered on that bridge wasn't just a lesson in humility. It was a neurological loophole, a glitch in the human mind. And I'm going to show you exactly how to exploit it right now. But here is the crazy part. Modern self-help tells you that you need motivation to do hard things. They tell you to watch hype videos, read quotes, and get fired up. The samurai thought motivation was an absolute joke. Motivation is an emotion, and emotions are as reliable as the wind. If you wait to feel like doing something hard, you will die waiting. Look at how Kenshiro's story actually ended. Years later, at the Battle of Koromogawa, his master Yoshitsune was trapped in a burning castle. Kenshiro stood at the main gate alone to buy him time. An entire army fired arrows at him. He was pierced dozens of times, but he didn't fall. The enemy soldiers were terrified. They refused to approach him. It wasn't until the wind blew a cloud of dust past him that they realized the truth. Kenshiro was already dead. He died standing up. He didn't need motivation to hold that gate. He had something infinitely more powerful. He had reprogrammed his brain to see pain as purpose. This is the core of the Lotus Method, and you can break it down into 3 simple, brutal steps. Step 1. The mud. The lotus flower is sacred in Zen philosophy for one specific reason. It does not grow on clean, pretty mountaintops. It only grows in the absolute filthiest, darkest mud it can find. No mud, no lotus. Right now, your brain is wired to escape the mud. When you sit down to work and feel that wave of stress or boredom, your brain pulls the alarm. It says, "This feels bad. Let's look at a screen. Let's eat sugar." The ancient warriors called this endurance nintai. They didn't fight the boredom. They sat in it. Modern science calls this psychological flexibility. It is the ability to observe your own discomfort without reacting to it like a panicked animal. So your first action step is this. Next time you feel the urge to quit a hard task, do not move. Set a timer for just 2 minutes. Sit in the mud. Let the boredom burn you. You will realize the mud cannot actually hurt you. But sitting in the mud isn't enough, is it? If you just sit there, you drown. To actually rise, the samurai used a bizarre physical trick that modern science is only just now understanding. Step 2. The stance of the sword. As the lotus seed decides to grow, it doesn't just float randomly. It pushes upward with violence and purpose. The samurai had a concept called shisai. It translates roughly to posture, but it means much more than just keeping your back straight. It is the physical manifestation of your intent. Think about what you do when you don't want to do something. You slouch. You sigh. You let your shoulders collapse. Your brain takes physical cues from your body. If you sit like a defeated peasant, your brain will produce the chemicals of a defeated peasant. Modern psychology calls this embodied cognition. The samurai knew that if you act like a warrior physically, your mind has no choice but to follow. They fixed their shisai. They stood tall. They slowed their breathing. They grabbed their weapons with authority. So when that hard task is staring you in the face, do not attack it while slumped over. Fix your posture. You've endured the mud. You've risen with purpose. But here is the terrifying part. Most people who get this far sabotage themselves right before the finish line. Why? Because they forget the final, unspoken rule of the lotus. Step 3. The silent bloom. This is the stage of kaka, the transformation. Here is where modern hustle culture gets it completely wrong. You think the goal of doing hard things is to get the reward, the money, the grade, the body. The samurai didn't care about the reward. They cared about who they became in the process. When the lotus blooms, it doesn't shout. It doesn't ask for a parade. It simply exists as a new, beautiful thing. Neuroscience proves that your identity is plastic. Every time you do something difficult when you don't want to, you cast a vote for your new identity. If you push through the pain just to get the prize, your brain will revert back to laziness the second the prize is yours. But if you do the hard thing to prove to yourself that you are a warrior, the game changes forever. You stop negotiating with yourself. You do the hard work because that is simply what you do. It becomes your nature. Kenshiro didn't hold that gate because he wanted a medal. He held it because he was Kenshiro. So look at the obstacle in front of you today. Stop running from the mud. Sit in the discomfort. Let it wash over you. Fix your posture. Command your body to be strong and take the strike. Not for the reward, but to forge a mind that cannot be broken. You have the power to force your brain to love the hard path. You just have to stop treating your laziness like an incurable disease. But mastering the Lotus Method is only half the battle. If your focus is constantly being hijacked by cheap dopamine and constant distractions, even the strongest samurai mind will eventually crack.